What caught the New York Times' interest in North Carolina?
Well, I guess they realized at some point we were one of the 50 states. I'd kind of forgotten there was a New York Times editorial board. I haven't read the editorial page there in some years. But I gather that liberalism is good, conservatism is evil, and North Carolina is crazy. It's essentially, the editorial got some attention because it's not every day that a national newspaper will editorialize about legislative decisions of any state, perhaps outside of New York and New Jersey. So North Carolina getting that attention was interesting. I thought it was odd that critics of the Republican legislature and Pat McCrory sort of held this New York Times editorial up, at least figuratively, and said, "How dare you? Look, what do you say in response?" The New York Times is a liberal editorial page, just like many newspapers in North Carolina have liberal editorial pages. You would expect them to editorialize against conservative ideas. Frankly, the North Carolina newspapers have editorialized much more effectively against the conservative ideas. At least they more or less know what they're talking about. The New York Times doesn't. It's obvious they don't. The editorial, for example, alleged that the reason North Carolina's legislature changed our unemployment insurance benefits, therefore triggering an end to federal extended benefits, is because North Carolina didn't want to pay its debt back to Washington, which is precisely the opposite of the reason they did it is because they wanted to pay the debt back faster than current law would have allowed. So it's the kind of thing that gets attention. I don't know how many people in the general public know or care about it. I would observe that the Wall Street Journal has already written in favor of what the Republicans did on tax reform and other issues. The Wall Street Journal has many more readers than the New York Times does, actually nationally and in North Carolina, and is surely more relevant if your concern is North Carolina's brand for business. I would think that having positive coverage in the Wall Street Journal editorial page, which is admittedly quite conservative, is more valuable than having good coverage on the New York Times editorial page, which is liberal.